El Filibusterismo was written about 4 years after Noli. In it, Rizal reveals a more mature and less hopeful outlook regarding the political and social situation in the Philippines. The frustration he had experienced in his effort towards social reform in those years account for the book's graver tone. Rizal himself considered Fili to be a better, more profound novel than Noli. His biographer Retana agrees that as a political novel, it is superior. Upon completing Al Filibusterismo, Rizal wrote Supplementary. I have not written in it any idea of vengeance against my enemies, but only for the good of those who suffer for the rights of Tagalog. Given the reaction to his first book, Rizal tried to avoid allowing the second one to fall into the hands of the Spaniards. He had, after all, written Al Filibusterismo not for the Spaniards, but for the Filipino people to read. After distributing copies of the first edition to his friends in Europe, Rizal designated most of the remainder to be sent to the Philippines. The books were first sent to his residence in Hong Kong to be smuggled to the Philippines by friends. Upon shipment to the Philippines, the copies were immediately seized by the authorities. El Filibusterismo, a rare book overnight. The few copies that were circulated were greatly in demand among the Filipinos. The content of the novel and its dedication were used as proof of Rizal's subversion when he was tried. Against Rizal's intentions, along with Noli Me Tangere, the book inspired Andres Bonifacio and other revolutionaries in his case. Their cause are some of the important timelines in creating El Filibusterismo.
Good day everyone, I'm Jasper Ibaya and I'm going to report about the summary of El Filibusterismo. So for this summary, I'm going to tackle about the theme, the major characters, and the synopsis of the El Filibusterismo. So for the synopsis of El Filibusterismo, the story of El Filibusterismo revolved around the main character, Simon, who was the rich jeweler. Simon was actually Crisostomo Ibarra of the Noli, whom everyone thought was killed by the Guardia Civil at the Laguna de Bay 13 years ago. He was able to escape and fled to Cuba. He became wealthy and was able to establish connections with prominent Spaniards officials. Upon his return to the Philippines, Simon became very influential, being the consultant of the Governor General. Simon came back with his grand plan to exact revenge on Spanish officials and to rescue Maria Clara, who entered the convent after learning the news of Ibarra's death. He planned to launch a revolution, planting a bomb at the wedding ceremony, which he started by smuggling arms and recruiting followers, mainly from the exploited and abused natives. One of these recruits was Basilio, the son of Sisa. With the help of Capitan Tiago, Basilio was able to study medicine in Manila. Simon also began to establish an alliance with Cabezang Tales and his revolutionary group. Cabezang Tales was a former cabeza de barangay who was maltreated by the friars. Using his position, Simon encouraged corruption and more oppressive government policies enraged the people and thus provoked them to revolt. Simon's plans of revolution failed twice. In his first attempt, he decided not to give signal for the outbreak of the uprising upon hearing the news of Maria Clara's death. Basilio and the other students were arrested for allegedly forming a seditious organization. Simon arranged the release of Basilio, who became bitter and vengeful. However, he was very grateful to Simon, and offered his full support for the revolution. The second attempt at starting a revolution entailed the planting of a bomb at the wedding reception of Paulita Gomez and Juanito Pelaez. Illustrious guests and mansion included Padre Salvi and the Governor General. In Simon's plan, the revolution would be triggered by his gift to the couple. It was a kerosene lamp with an explosive. When the lamp starts flickering and someone turns the wick, there would be an explosion, signaling the revolutionaries to attack all government buildings in Manila. As planned, Simon gave the lamp during the reception. Before leaving the venue, he left a note with a message, "You will die tonight," signed by Crisostomo Ibarra. Meanwhile, when Basilio saw all the people at the venue, his conscience bothered him. He saw his friend Isagani, who was secretly watching his love, Paulita, celebrating her wedding. Basilio told Isagani about the explosive and asked him to leave the place. When Padre Salvi confirmed Ibarra's handwriting, the guests began to panic. The lamp flickered and Padre Irene tried to turn the wick. But Isagani, wanting to save Paulita, ran into the house, grabbed the lamp, and threw it into the river where it exploded. Simon took refuge in the house of a kind Filipino priest, Padre Florentino. The Guardia Civils, however, learned about the whereabouts of the fugitive and informed the priest that they would come in the evening to arrest Simon. Instead of surrendering to the authorities, Simon poisoned himself. As the poison started to take effect on his body, he confessed to Padre Florentino his true identity and his plans for revenge. After the long confession, the priest told Simon that his plans might have failed because of the unjust means that were used. He assured Simon that there was still hope for the freedom of the country. The story ended with Padre Florentino throwing Simon's jewels into the sea so that they would not be used by the greedy. He also prayed that when the right time comes, the treasure would be recovered and used for a noble purpose. So that's how the El Filibusterismo has ended. Thank you.
El Filibusterismo is a deeply layered and complex novel that delves into various themes and socio-political issues prevalent during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. It serves as a scathing critique of the oppressive colonial system and exposes the corruption, hypocrisy, and social injustices faced by the Filipino people. Here is a more comprehensive analysis of the novel. Colonialism and oppression. One of the central themes in El Filibusterismo is the portrayal of the detrimental effects of colonialism. Rizal depicts the Philippines under Spanish rule as a society suffering from economic exploitation, social inequality, and cultural oppression. The Spanish colonial government and the friars are shown as oppressive forces that perpetuate injustice and hinder progress. Social injustice and inequality. Rizal explores the stark divide between the privileged elite and the impoverished masses. The novel portrays the struggles and hardship faced by ordinary Filipinos, emphasizing the disparities in wealth, education, and opportunities. Rizal criticized the exploitative nature of the ruling class and the lack of social mobility for the majority. Hypocrisy and corruption. Rizal exposes the hypocrisy of the Spanish friars, who are portrayed as religious figures abusing their power for personal gain. He criticizes their lavish lifestyles, immoral behavior, and manipulation of the native population. The novel also highlights the widespread corruption among government officials, emphasizing how it perpetuates social inequality and hampers progress. Resistance and revolution. Through the character of Simon, Rizal explores the concept of resistance and revolution as a response to oppression. Simon's character represents the delusionalist idealist who seeks to incite a revolution against the Spanish regime. Nationalism and identity. El Filibusterismo delves into the themes of nationalism and the struggle for identity. Rizal emphasizes the importance of national consciousness and the awakening of Filipino pride and solidarity. He also advocates for a sense of unity amongst Filipinos to challenge colonial domination and fight for self-determination. Symbolism. Rizal employs various symbols throughout the novel to convey deeper meanings. For example, the titular term, filibusterismo, refers to the subversive actions taken by Simon, symbolizing his desire to revolt against the oppressive system. Critic of Spanish society. In addition to criticizing colonial rule, El Filibusterismo also provides social commentary on Spanish society. Rizal highlights the flaws and injustices with Spanish culture, such as the corrupt bureaucracy, decadence, and moral decay. Education and enlightenment. Rizal places significant emphasis on the power of education and enlightenment. Characters like Basilian Isagani represent the potential for change through the intellectual growth and the acquisition of knowledge. Rizal believed that education was vital in raising awareness, fostering critical thinking, and ultimately empowering the Filipino people. Overall, El Filibusterismo is a profound and multi-layered novel that offers a comprehensive critique of colonialism, social injustice, corruption, and the quest for national identity. It continues to be celebrated as a seminal work in Philippine literature, resonating with readers as a call for social reform and a testament to the enduring spirit of resistance against oppression.
El Filibusterismo is a highly influential and thought-provoking novel that delves into the complex social and political landscape of the Philippines during the late 19th century. It written by Dr. Jose Rizal, a prominent Filipino nationalist and intellectual. The novel serves as a passionate critique of Spanish colonial rule and the societal issues that plague the Filipino people. The protagonist of the novel is Simon, who is portrayed as a wealthy jeweler with a secret agenda. Simon seeks revenge against the oppressive rule of the Spanish authorities and the tragic fate of his loved ones. Through the character of Simon, Rizal explores the depth of human suffering, the yearning for justice, and the consequences of irresistible power. El Filibusterismo tackles a variety of issues with a sharp and critical eye. A major theme is social inequality, as Rizal clearly exposes the stark contrast between the privileged Spanish ruling class and the poor Filipino and strategically builds on ordinary citizen suffering from exploitation, corruption, and injustice is emphasized in the novel. Rizal's portrayal of these injustices aims to awaken awareness and inspire actions for social change. Greed and abuse of power are common themes in the novel. Rizal exposes the deeply ingrained corruption of the Spanish colonial administration and its negative impact on Filipino society. He highlights how the pursuit of personal gain and selfishness leads individuals in position of power to oppress and exploit the powerless. Moreover, El Filibusterismo explores the nationalist idea and the struggle for national identity. Rizal emphasizes the importance of unity and the need for Filipinos to assert their identity and fight for their rights. The novel is a rallying call for Filipinos to rise up against their oppressors and work to build a just and free society. Through his complex narrative and vivid characterization, Rizal paints a vivid portrait of the social and political realities of his time. His literary work exposes the shortcomings and injustices of the Spanish colonial system, encouraging the readers to consider enduring issues of power, corruption, and inequality in society. In conclusion, El Filibusterismo is a masterpiece that not only reflects the harsh realities of the Spanish colonial era but also extols the social reforms and justice of Dr. Jose Rizal's novel. Continues to be regarded as an important piece of Philippine literature, inspiring generations to challenge oppression, uphold national identity, and strive for a more egalitarian society.